You guys are absolutely insane. You guys loved the video of Warzone that I did not too long ago. So much that you guys said, Jayware. Give us a video on DMZ. I've lost all hope for you guys. You guys think I'm that good of a player that you're asking me for help? Good God, what is this world coming to? Just might as well just throw in the towel. Everybody's lost hope. We're all going down the pits. DMZ. One of my favorite game modes since Escape from Tarkov was born, and I was addicted to that game. Hold on, I'm gonna nade it. Stop moving.
You have tunnel vision right now? Let's go.
That might have been a bad nade. Yeah, get out of there. DMZ is a whole other egg in a basket that many people don't quite understand. It is more hardcore. It is a lot longer. And it requires a lot more thinking than just basic multiplayer where you just run around going shooty bane at anything that moves. In this video, we're going to be breaking it down for you, making DMZ as easy as possible so that if you're like me and have the smoothest brain possible, it's easy for you to understand and can go ahead and start getting those successful exfils and leveling up some guns and maybe even cheating the system just a little bit. So without further ado, let's jump into it.
We don't talk anymore. We don't talk anymore. We don't talk anymore like we used to.
Let's get started with the lobby. There's a couple things to talk about here. First off, the faction missions and how to use those. The faction missions are quite simple. There are 3 different groups of factions in this game. The Legion, the White Lotus, and the Black Mouse. Now, the White Lotus and Black Mouse are going to be locked at the start of the game. You're going to have a few missions to do with the Legion. Once you complete those, you'll unlock an ultimate task. You complete that task, you'll unlock the White Lotus, and so forth, so forth. Just completing the task, you'll unlock each individual fortune on its own time. And there's a reason you want to be doing those. One, not just for the contraband items that you can get, but you can get a shit ton of XP by doing these. So make sure you're doing them. Plus, they have a little bit of benefit. This is the basic loadout screen. This is everything that you will be bringing into the actual DMZ match. At the very top is your on soldier and including your backpack. These items you cannot remove from your character, and they will be with you each and every match. If you die, you lose everything and have to start from scratch, so do keep that in mind. However, the contents within your large backpack and your loadout at the bottom are interchangeable. One thing to keep in mind about your entire loadout, whatever you bring into the match is at risk. If you die, you lose everything. Have to completely restart brand new loadout, brand new backpack, everything of the sort. So make sure that you're willing to lose whatever you're bringing in. This is your contraband stage. This is where you can choose what weapons you will be bringing into each and every match. Now there's a couple things to keep in mind. 1, the insured slots, and 2, the contraband stash. Let's start with the contraband stash. These are all the guns that you have found throughout the game and have exfilled successfully with. This is where you can store them. Now also keep this in mind. I'm not aware for sure, but I believe if you don't buy the Vault edition of this game, you only start with 10 slots available in your stash, which means you can only have 10 max guns at a time in your stash. However, I believe if you buy the Vault edition, like I did, you start with 20. So dropping a little bit of extra cash might benefit you here. Keep this in mind. This is just my personal tip. Guns are super easy to get in this game, unlike another game that we know. It's okay to be willing to destroy some of these guns and get rid of them because they're super easy to get. The way I do it is I'm in a big leveling mood right now, trying to get every single gun max level. So the only guns that I tend to keep in my stash are guns that I either really enjoy or are guns that I am currently leveling and trying to get to max level. So just kind of up to you. Organize it how you wish. The second thing to keep in mind is your insured slots. You have 3 of them at the top. The first one is unlocked automatically from the start of the game. The other 2 you unlock, as you could see, by completing tier 3 of every faction, and then the third slot by completing tier 5 of any faction. That's where your faction quests come in. The more you do, not only the more XP you get and more contraband you get, but you could also get some cool skins, some operator skins, a couple other prizes like that, but also you unlock more insured slots. Now, the insured slots are very cool. They are very useful as well. Keep in mind, when you use an insured slot, for example, the SO14 that I have here, these are just like your multiplayer builds. You can pick what guns you have unlocked. You can fully customize it with whatever attachments you have unlocked depending on the gun's level, and you can use that in the game. Now, keep this in mind. If you die while using one of your insured weapons, no big deal. That gun is gone, and the insured slot goes into cooldown. After about 120 minutes, it will be unlocked and you can re-customize the gun, rebuild it all up. So there's no real penalizing factor for using the insured slots. So make sure you're using them whenever you want. One final note about your loadout. The tactical, lethal, and field upgrades. These do not have a limit on them. You can run as many tacticals as you want, as many lethals as you want, and as many field upgrades. So if you do die and lose them, just re-equip them. There's no limit. Make sure you're bringing them in. Okay, it's time to dive into your first match of DMZ, or if you're watching this after, whatever match you're in. But let's get started. First things first, let's take a look at the map. There can be 66 other people in this game. And I'm not just talking AI, I'm talking players, which means there are a minimum of 22 other spawn points throughout this map. I do not know them all. I do not wish to know them all because that would just be more math than my brain can comprehend. But just keep in mind, you and at least 65 other players are in this match at a time. Now let's break down the map just a little bit. On your right hand side, we don't care about that legend. Fuck the legend, especially men. We hate maps. We know the way. So pretty much disregard everything I'm about to say if you're a male. For those of you that like maps, however, let's break it down for you. First off, on the left-hand side is all your current tasks that you have equipped and are ready to do in this section of DMZ. So do as many as you want, but don't feel pressure to get them all done in one match. There is no time limit on these. Take your time, even if you need to, spread them out over the course of multiple matches. As you can see here, there's a lot of different dots on the map, a lot of different things. So let's break them down, make it a little bit simpler and easier to digest. First off, all those little cell phones are just like in Warzone. They're contracts. Completing those awards you a lot of money, and in some cases, some really good loot as far as weapons go, as some of them are only available in those contracts, like some of those higher tier weapons. So make sure that you're keeping an eye out for those, doing as much of those, because money does play a factor in this game. The second thing to keep in mind is the strongholds. Just like Warzone, strongholds are armored places that have high tier loot. Now that's not as high tier as in Warzone, but it still can pay off in dividends. Some of the contracts actually require you to go to those strongholds. Now strongholds, keep this in mind, they are locked, and I'll explain how to get into strongholds a little bit later. The next thing to keep in mind are a couple of location logos. Just for example, there's 4 of them right in Al Mazrah City. On the far east, you got the police station. At the north, it's a building I don't know. The west, another building that I don't know. But on the south side is the post office. Now, some of these buildings are locked. You need keys to get access to. And keys are completely random. They can spawn in any of the lootable items that you can find. And in some of the HVT contracts that you can do, which are those skulls, when you kill the boss there, they can even have keys within them. So keep an eye out for those, because these locations are also heavily guarded, but can come out with some really good loot, especially if you have those keys. The next couple of items are the gas stations. There's 2 types of gas stations, the ones with water and ones on land. Gas stations are very useful, as in this game, vehicles do take a lot of damage and they have gas. When you reach a gas station, you can park a car next to the gas pumps and it will start refueling and repairing those vehicles. Same with the boats for the ones on the water. Now, if there are AI enemies at the gas stations, it will not immediately start refueling and repairing the vehicle. You need to clear out the enemy AI before it will start the refuel and repump. But it's pretty simple, takes only a few seconds. And there's even a quest later on that will actually make you do this 5 different times. So just keep in mind if you ever need a quick bathroom break and grab a drink for the road, keep an eye out for those gas pumps. The next 2 locations that I want to draw your attention to are the UAV towers and SAM sites. Both of these are very useful. Let's start with the UAVs. The UAV towers are these very simple things. You go up to it, hold F, square, X, Y, Z, B, Q, whatever button it is that you have bound to interacting with items. You interact with them, it will then start a short UAV ping in the vicinity. Now, it's not going to ping the entire map. However, it will ping a small radius around the area. When you activate a UAV, it will turn red on the map for everybody to see. Everyone will know that you've activated a UAV. It will even pop up on their screen that a UAV has been activated in the vicinity of them. And so they will be aware of it, and they can actually go over to the UAV and interrupt it earlier than when its normal time limit is. So do keep that in mind, that it does put you on the map as far as people know that someone's in that vicinity. The second thing I want to talk about are the SAM sites. SAM sites, like the UAVs, are interactive. When you interact with them, it will start a defending system. A couple waves of AI will rotate in, and you will have to defend the SAM site from these AI. It will now turn red again for everyone to know that you've activated it. Now, here's where the cool part comes in. With SAM sites, you can leave them be after you've activated them. At random intervals, you will hear someone come on the radio and say that they have locked onto an enemy cache plane. The SAM site will then shoot said plane down, and on your map, a logo of this supply drop will come into play. You can then rotate over there, capture the stash, and in some cases, these can have some really good loot, like 3-plate armor vests. In some cases, me and my friends have found like 4 or 5 different score streaks within them, a crap ton of money, and even some really good guns. So this is actually worth it if you're looking for a good build setup for something quick as well. So keep an eye out for them. The next thing to be aware of is your exfils. Now, these are very important to keep in mind of where they are. There are only 3 of them each match, and they are going to be camped. I'm not gonna lie. There are a lot of campers when it comes to some of these exfils. So be ready for fights. Another reason you want to keep in mind of them is after 30 minutes in the map, the radiation zone, which we'll show in a moment, will start expanding. As that zone expands, once it covers one of the exfil sites, it will gray out, which means you can no longer call an exfil to that location. So keeping in mind what zone an exfil is going to be the last one standing, which means everyone will be racing for it as time expires. So if you have a lot of good loot and you want to get out, make sure you get out earlier, because as the game goes on, more and more people are exfilling, and it's going to get more and more hectic as that zone expands. Next up is the weapon case zone. Now, I personally have not yet gone into one of these zones, but from friends that have, this is what they've told me. Red alert. It is hell. It is nightmare. Very difficult. Basically, there are a shit ton of AI, both light armored all the way up to the max level armor, and there is a juggernaut in this area. The juggernaut will then drop a weapon case. Now, this weapon case is marked on the map. As soon as you kill the juggernaut, it will let everybody know that it has been dropped. It will let everybody know that you've picked it up, and then you'll be a moving target for everybody on the map to see as you traced for the exfil. And people, I guarantee you, will be hunting you as soon as you pick it up, because it is very priceless. Now, as far as monetary value, not that great. However, if you do manage to exfil with it, you unlock cosmetics, some skins for weapons, blueprints, operator skins, stuff like that. A shit ton of XP all comes from exfilling with this. And from what I understand, if you exfil 7 of these, you unlock a very rare operator skin that only comes from after exfilling those 7 items. So if you want a challenge, make sure you're going for those, because they can also give you some cool cosmetic rewards. The final thing to know about the map is the radiation zone. Now, the radiation zone is a very key part to DMZ. It has a lot about it. First off, you cannot just go into this without a gas mask. You will take damage. There are also items known as radiation blockers that you can pop for a temporary immunity to radiation, but as soon as that wears off, you'll need a gas mask. Inside the radiation zone is an enemy known as the Chemist, another very heavily armored guy that is carrying an M13 blueprint, as well as a shit ton of armored AI at his disposal, and they are constantly getting backup. A cool thing about this, if you're struggling to find a gas mask and you want to go into this radiation zone and fight the Chemist, Every enemy inside the radiation zone drops a gas mask. So if you are running low, just kill an enemy, pick up their gas mask, you're set to go. You can also carry extras in your backpack if you so need. The radiation zone, here's why it is so important. The Chemist. Now, as far as the overall theme, there's not a lot of loot in the radiation zones. However, the Chemist is carrying the M13. Now, if you don't currently have the M13 unlocked, here's how you unlock it. Kill the Chemist, Exfil with his M13 blueprint. The M13 is now unlocked for you to use, and honestly, one of my favorite guns in the game. Very difficult to get, but very doable if you communicate with your team and work together, and then are very patient with getting out, because you aren't marked on the map once you pick up the M13, so it's a nice, easy exfil from there. Just like I said earlier, after the 30 minutes expires, this radiation zone will begin to expand, and we'll start covering the entire map. As soon as that happens, race to an exfil, get out. Hopefully you can survive. There are 3 types of AI that you can encounter just out anywhere in the map. Light AI, armored AI, and what me and my friends call the M4 heavies. The light AI you want to be careful of. While they may be extremely easy to kill, they come in the dozens, so you can easily be swarmed if you're not careful. The armored AI aren't as heavily grouped as the light AI, but still come in good masses, and they're armored, so not as easy to kill. So make sure that you're being careful with those. As for the heavy AI, these guys are red alert. They come with very kitted M4s, are extremely well armored, and they are very tactical. They come in groups of about 5 to 6. Maybe I've seen up to about 10 in one group before. These guys are no joke. Do not direct engage. Find cover and engage them while through cover, because they will shred you very fast. Let's say you went ahead and found a player, you shit on them, and now you're looting their backpack. Let's talk about this for a second. Now, you can queue up into DMZ as a solo, duo, or max as a trio. You can even find randos. Now, if you do come across an entire team, they can sometimes be split. Couple things to keep in mind. Even after you are downed and fully eliminated, you can be revived. So, do not just automatically think, I'm out of the picture. Your teammates can get you if they clutch up. However, there's a key to that part. Dog tags. As you can see here in this guy's backpack, he has a dog tag on him, which I can take and sell for 2,500 bucks. If I pick that dog tag up, I am now marked on the map for the rest of his team to see at all times. They can hunt me down, recollect his dog tag, take it back to his body, and revive him. As long as the dog tag is on the body, you can revive your teammates. So, do not give up on your team. If they go down, try to get them back up. Make sure that they can. Also, just a side note so you don't end up like Lieutenant Dan and losing his legs. Some of these houses can be booby-trapped, so keep an eye out for that tripwire. Strongholds are a key part to DMZ. Now, to access them, you need a Stronghold keycard, and there's 2 ways that you can get them. A, you buy them from the buy station, or B, you get lucky. When you kill AI, whether it's light, medium, or heavies, they have the chance to drop a Stronghold keycard. Now, these keycards can be used on any Stronghold in the map, and they have unlimited uses, so you could hit every single Stronghold once you have access to one of these. Strongholds are not a joke, however. Sometimes you can get lucky with them, but for the most part, they can be pretty difficult. There are a lot of AI in there between light and normal armored AI. Sometimes, depending on how lucky you are, you could get those heavy AI. Also, inside of these strongholds can spawn riot shield AI, so please be careful, as these guys will kick your ass if you let them. Make sure you have grenades in stock, or get your movement game going and get behind them as fast as you can before they melee you to death. Now, once you enter the stronghold and clear them out, it will trigger a little bit of an event. In other words, reinforcements will be on the way via either vehicle or chopper. These reinforcements are armored, and there's about a group of 6 of them that roll in. So once you clear out the stronghold, make sure that you watch out for this new reinforcements. They can send anywhere between 1 and 3 groups of reinforcements all at once or spaced out, so just keep that in mind. Inside the strongholds are some decent loot. You can get anywhere between 1 to 3 orange chests, depending on the size of the stronghold, which has some really good gear, and just a couple other of loose loot locations. So check them out, get some money, get some loot. Exfilling can be a little bit of a tricky thing. Keep this in mind. Exfils can be used multiple times throughout the map. So if someone were to come in before you and activate it, you could actually get on their chopper, kill them, or just share the chopper if you meet some nice people. Get in, get out. Pretty simple, right? However, once they use that exfil, there's a short delay between it can be used. You know the exfil is now able to be called in by a green smoke that goes off. Once you get near it, it'll give you the prompt. Go ahead and call in the chopper. Wait a short time. The chopper will then rotate in. You will then have about 30 seconds to get onto the chopper. Once you and your entire team are on the chopper, it will cut it from 30 seconds down to about 5 seconds. As soon as that timer hits 0, you take off and you can start the exfil. Now, keep this in mind. There is a cheese to this. Just because you're on the chopper and the time hits 0 and you start taking off does not mean you are safe. Enemies can still kill you. There are tricks that people can jump on top of the chopper without getting shredded by the blades, get into the very front, and shoot through that front screen at you. You can still die while flying away. Also, a trick that you can then use. Let's say you're able to get to the exfil and the chopper is there, but you don't want to fight the guys that are on it. Jump on top of the helicopter, and you can exfil. You do not have to be inside the helicopter exfil. As long as you are on that chopper when it takes off, you can exfil. The last thing that I want to point out is your exfil cash. This comes into where money plays into your insurance weapons. The money you can use to buy from buy stations throughout the match. However, there is a bigger use, in my opinion, for it. Your insurance. When you die and your insurance goes into cooldown, you can then go into a match and extract with money. The more money you exfil with, the more time that is taken off of the cooldown for that insurance weapon. Which means, even though it's 120 minutes of cooldown, if you have one really good game, you could actually automatically get it unlocked in that one match. So, get as much money as you can, exfil with that money, and your insurance can get right back up if you do lose it. DMZ! Simple, yet complicated. And I just scratched the surface of it. Hold on. Did you really think I was done with this video after giving you just the basics and scratching the surface? Man, you guys really don't know me, man. You guys need to get your priorities straight. How dare you almost click out of this video for it? This video's gone a lot longer. Let's dive in deeper to the DMZ and make sure that you guys know exactly what you're doing, because this gets good. And now, a quick word from our sponsor, the Signal 50. Need to blow somebody's brains out against the pavement? Look no further than your favorite 50 cal semi-automatic sniper rifle. It will do the job right. UAVs can be a lot of fun to use and very useful, as they give you a lot of information around you. Sometimes so much that it's hard to keep track of everything, so make sure you're paying attention to what your radar is pinging, because it will either be a shit ton of AI surrounding you, or maybe a couple players hiding in the masses. Remember those M4 AI I was talking about earlier? Yeah, these are them. These guys, super heavily armored. They're not even a Signal 50 can take their heads off. It's like they have 3-plate armor or whatnot. And even then, these guys have got the aim of a hawk. They don't miss. This is the buy station. Now, ignore my fat head and being in the way here, but this is the brief start of how the buy station is. It's separated into 3 different categories: gear, contraband, and if you have any items that you can sell on you, there will be a third option that allows you to sell shit. In the gear section, it's quite simple. Kind of like the buy stations of Warzone, each buy station will have its own simple stock that you can choose from. Each one is different with different stock. So, make sure you buy what you want, make sure you have the cash you need, and you'll be able to buy what you are so desiring from this sweet store. Remember how I told you guns are extremely easy to get in this game? Yeah, I stand by that statement. If you are not wanting all the RPKs and 74Us that drop from all the AI that you can find, but you want a gun that maybe you haven't seen before, check the buy station. Each buy station has a different stock. Different guns are going to be in each one, and they are going to cost a little bit and have different attachments that you can exfil. So, You feeling bored with that good old X12? Come buy an HCR54 from me at the shop. That'll get you going good. Finally is the sell station. If you have anything in your backpack that you need some quick cash for to buy something else, maybe an LTV or a brand new spanking Deagle. By the way, not sponsored by the Deagle Company in any way, shape, or form. Come to the sell valuable station. All you have to do is sell whatever you want and go ahead and get some sweet cash. Buy out those delicious weapons. SAM sites are where things get just a little interesting. Really, all you have to do, activate it and it starts the event. Like I said, it's a defense system. You have to defend it over the course of the time that it activates. During this time, no one will actually know that you're activating it unless they are in the vicinity because a nice big siren goes off. However, the game will send between 1 and 3 waves of AI, and these AI can be anywhere from basic level 1 guys all the way up to the M4 guys. So just be ready for as many waves as this game wants to send at you. Defend this system, wait for it to be captured, and once you do, you can start reaping the rewards of anybody's sweet caches. Now this is something I forgot to mention, the Commander Helos. This is a random spawn enemy chopper that is heavily armored, heavily weaponized, and wants to murder anybody it sees. So, they spawn at random locations and at random times throughout the game. So if you guys want to, you could go challenge them if you have any RPGs or just want to spray a shit ton of bullets at them. You could definitely go do that. They drop a supply package that takes a little bit of time to capture, but once captured, it can reap some delicious rewards. So risk versus reward if you really want to get shot at by a freaking 45mm fucking machine gun. Back to the SAM site. After you've captured it, you can just leave it. After a certain time, like I mentioned earlier, it will lock onto an enemy plane, as you see right here. It will then shoot it down and spawn in a cache right here that will just drop in a random location. All you gotta do is go collect it. Keys are where things get interesting. There are 2 types of keys you can find. Basic ass gray keys or the delicious gold keys. Now, the difference between these 2 types of keys are mainly just the type of loot and locations they unlock. Basic gray keys will still reward some good loot based on your RNG, while the gold keys will usually unlock some of these major locations that are heavily guarded but have a crap ton of loot for you to go through. A word to the wise to everyone.
Dude, there's strip lines on everything.
Yeah, what my brother said. There's trip lines everywhere. So unless you want to end up like Lieutenant Dan again, keep your eyes out.
Please, no.
Oh.
There's trip lines on everything.
Oh. Okay. At this point, we've talked about just everything in the DMZ mode, from the basics all the way up to the nitty-gritties of what each and every item does. However, there's 2 more things that I have yet to touch on. The radiation zone and the weapons case. Now, the radiation zone, there's not a lot to talk about. It's just a zone. Again, not a lot of loot there. It's only the chemist there, which I've covered an entire gameplay of me and my brother getting the M13 out and fighting the chemist in a video, which I'll link now in the wherever here on the screen. Keep an eye out for it. It's there. I know it is. But so if you guys want to see exactly what the chemist is like, you can go check out that video on the channel. But let's get into the nitty-gritty, the weapons case. This is like the trophy upon trophies of DMZ. If you successfully escape with this thing, you are considered a god. And if you get 7 of them exfilled, so that's 7 different raids that you successfully exfilled with the weapons case, you unlock a secret operator skin that even I don't even know what it is. So let's talk about it and exactly what you can expect. The current gameplay you're watching is me and my brother's very first attempt at trying the weapons case. I have never been in this zone, so I was not aware of what to expect. But now that I've tried it, I'm prepared to give you a full breakdown and walkthrough of how this works. First off, this zone is covered by a ton of AI, from the lightest AI on the outer edges of the circle into the heaviest M4s at the center of the circle, which is usually where the Juggernaut is. Now, do keep this in mind. The Juggernaut does not stay in one spot. Once he knows you're in the circle and killing things, he will start hunting you. So even though he starts more towards the center of the zone with all the M4s, he does tend to wander around if you get his attention. So do keep that in mind. But let's go ahead and watch the gameplay. I'm not going to say a lot. I'll just kind of talk a little bit here and there. But the key factor to this is come ready to fight. This guy is not easy to take down, nor is it going to be a simple task with all the AI and possible other players that rotate in to participate with you. So, make sure communication is on point, take fights together, and don't get split solo. Okay.
Oh, there's a lot of people outside, Jackson. Watch your back.
I turn around and start shooting at you.
Oh, dude, the juggernaut's right there.
Where, Dixon? Give me a ping. AI just spawned in behind us, by the way.
Wait, it might not have been. I might have just been boy Charles Tarkov. Is he blue like these guys?
I don't know. He's gonna be massive. You're
He
to the
was
right,
the
Dixon.
big
That
guy.
guy. That guy's the juggernaut.
Okay, so I was right. Yep, it is him. In with the nade. I don't have any plates though.
Can you ping him for me?
Yeah,
He's right
outside
outside.
your door.
He's right outside my door.
Jackson, I cracked him. He has no shield.
I'm gonna try and hit him with an RPG.
I'm out of AR ammo, by the way.
Here.
Throwing munitions. Throwing munitions.
Here, I'm gonna throw an armor box as well back here.
Dropping some armor.
Where at? Where's the armor?
Right here.
Taking effective fire.
Pop some plates. Oh, they just dropped more.
Yep. Let's focus these AI for a second here.
Oh, Jackson, he's coming! What's the corner? I killed him. I've got
Okay,
the bomb.
don't pick it up yet. Don't pick it up yet.
Ah, too late.
Well, okay, we gotta run. Get in the car. Let's go. Dixon, get us right here. Now, before we get into the fun of the exfil part of this, let me just go over a couple things real quick. When one person picks up the weapon case, you are marked on the map at all times. Everybody in the lobby can see where you are. So pressure's on, especially since everybody wants this. They're going to be racing to you. We got lucky with where our exfil was. It was within 150, 200 meters of where we just killed the juggernaut. So we didn't have far to go, even though we totally fuck it up here. However, big key important. Don't leave the guy with the weapons case behind. Left! Left!
I have no plates. I need you to
Here,
take the wheel.
you take over. You know.
Jackson, don't leave me! You left me!
I thought you were...
I'm dead!
I thought you were just gonna switch seats. Jump down here. Dude, I thought you were just gonna switch seats.
I jumped out.
I thought you were just gonna switch seats.
I have the... You don't leave it out.
I thought you were just gonna switch seats.
I didn't know what I was doing. Here, hop on. I'll take over. Oh.
I was wondering why I gotta maneuver through all four seats. I was like, wait a second, what is this? Oh, we still gotta go up the hill, Dixon. Up the hill somehow.
This is the one we exfilled at already, huh? That was the last match.
Somebody just threw grenades at us. Hit it, Dixon. Activate
Yeah.
it.
All over. Dino 4's inbound for extraction. Be with you soon.
I can't see this guy and I'm taking damage. Do you have any armor?
I do not.
Well,
Taking fire.
I'm getting inside,
me
Dixon. I am getting inside. I'm down.
Ultra One, we have visual on the LZ. Keep it clear.
Just get it off. Just get it off.
Good. Go.
Players are going to be racing to this location, Dixon.
Dino 4 is holding in the extraction point.
Get on, get on, get on, get on, get on, get on.
Dino
Can't get in.
Nixon! Shit! RPG! Did we do it? RPG!
Oh! My bounty just expired.
Yeah. When it said out of time, I got worried. I was like, wait, we had a limited time to extract this thing? We did it! First try! Now there you have it. DMZ in a nice little nutshell with a bow on top. That made no sense, but I'm sticking with it. If you guys did enjoy the content and you enjoy this walkthrough of how DMZ works and kind of the little things that you can do around the map, there's not really any tactical things that you can do with here. It just is a massive multiplayer map in my opinion, but way more hardcore. So if you enjoy that type of stuff, definitely give it a try as it is completely free. And I mean, why not try something that's free, right? But if you guys enjoyed, leave a like. It lets me know you guys enjoyed the content. Also, if you want any more tutorials in something in Call of Duty, any more in-depth maybe ideas, leave them down in the comment section below. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.